It's inside of you. Way inside of you. It takes your dirt away. An organ system. Coming now.
Oh, well, thank you so much for that dramatic entrance. Wasn't that amazing? Sorry.
Anyway, good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Catherine.
And I'm CJ. And I'm a random person. We will now talk about kidneys.
Not just kidneys, but the whole urinary system.
I have a question, Catherine.
What is it, CJ?
How does the urinary system work?
Oh, I just happen to have a video clip about it. Let's all watch this.
The urinary system produces, collects, and excretes urine. The kidneys concentrate wastes, which then flow through the ureter to the bladder. Urine is stored in the bladder and leaves the body by way of the urethra. Excretion is accomplished by the involuntary opening of the muscular sphincter at the opening of the bladder and the voluntary relaxation of the sphincter of the urethra.
I sort of get it, but I'm still confused.
Don't worry, the next video will explain everything to you.
As we've just seen, the process of digestion and absorption releases nutrients into the bloodstream. But excess nutrients, salts, minerals, and water, as well as drugs and toxins, can also enter the bloodstream through the digestive system. Further, the cells of the body release toxic waste products such as ammonia, which is converted to into the bloodstream. These excess materials and drugs, toxins, and wastes, if allowed to build up in the bloodstream, can threaten an individual by throwing off critical chemical balances. The blood and extracellular fluid that bathes body cells must have a close to neutral pH, precisely regulated concentrations of various salts, appropriate levels of water and dissolved substances, and of course, cellular waste products must not be allowed to reach toxic levels. The burden of maintaining proper chemical balance or homeostasis in the body falls largely on the kidneys. Human kidneys are paired, kidney bean-shaped organs located on either side of the spinal column and extending slightly above the waist. Each is approximately 13 centimeters long,
back into the blood,
centimeters thick. Blood carrying various waste enters each kidney through a renal artery. After it has been filtered, the blood exits through the renal vein. Urine, which is a mixture of water, dissolved wastes, and toxins, and some excess nutrients filtered out of the blood, leaves each kidney through a narrow muscular tube called the ureter. Peristaltic contractions drive urine through the ureter to the bladder, a hollow muscular chamber that collects and stores urine. The walls of the bladder contain smooth muscle capable of considerable expansion. Urine is retained in the bladder by two sphincter muscles located at its base, just above the juncture with the urethra. When the bladder becomes distended, receptors in the walls trigger reflexive contractions. The sphincter nearest the bladder, the internal sphincter, is open during these contractions. However, the lower or external sphincter is under voluntary control, so the reflex can be suppressed by the brain unless bladder distension becomes acute. The average adult bladder will hold about 500 milliliters, or approximately a pint of urine, but the urge to urinate is triggered by considerably smaller accumulations. Urine completes its journey to the outside through a single narrow tube called the urethra. The kidney contains a solid outer layer where urine is formed and a hollow inner chamber called the renal pelvis, which is a branched collecting chamber that funnels urine into the ureter. The outer layer of the kidney is divided into a fan-shaped inner renal medulla and an overlying renal cortex. Microscopic examination of these structures reveals an array of tiny individual filters or nephrons. Over 1 million nephrons are packed into the cortex
for balance of sodium, chloride, potassium, calcium, hydrogen, phosphate, and pH, and eliminate products of metabolism such as urea, uric acid, and creatinine. The medial border of the kidney is indented by a deep fissure called the hilus, where the blood vessels, nerves, and ureters connect to the kidney. The kidney is composed of up to 18 lobes. Each lobe is composed of nephrons. Nephrons are the functional units of the kidney, and each kidney contains more than 1 million nephrons. Each nephron consists of a glomerulus and a system of tubules. The glomerulus is a unique, high-pressure mass of capillaries that filters the blood. The glomerulus is encased in a thin, double-walled capsule called Bowman's capsule. The space inside the capsule and surrounding the glomerulus is called Bowman's space. Plasma-like fluid is filtered from the capillary blood into Bowman's space through the glomerular filtration membrane. The glomerular filtration membrane consists of 3 layers of capillary wall: the endothelium, the basement membrane, and the epithelium. This membrane allows some particles from the blood to pass through, but not all. The fluid that is filtered from the capillary blood into the Bowman's space is called filtrate and forms the primary urine. The filtrate then diffuses across Bowman's space and into the tubule system of the nephron. In the tubules, some substances are added to the filtrate as part of the urine formation, and some substances are reabsorbed out of the filtrate and back into the blood. The nephron tubule is divided into 4 segments. The filtrate passes through each of these segments before reaching the ureter. A highly coiled segment called the proximal convoluted tubule, which drains Bowman's capsule and where almost complete absorption of nutritionally important substances takes place. A thin looped structure called the loop of Henle, which reabsorbs water and ions from the urine and plays a role in controlling the concentration of urine. A distal coiled portion called the distal convoluted tubule, which regulates potassium, sodium, and pH, and where further dilution of the urine takes place. And the collecting tubule, which joins with several tubules to collect the filtrate and where final sodium regulation takes place. Each kidney is supplied with blood by a single renal artery that arises on its respective side of the aorta before dividing into 5 segmental arteries that enter the hilus. Within the kidney, each segmental artery branches into several lobular arteries. The lobular arteries further subdivide to form interlobular arteries, which branch off into afferent arterioles. Blood flows into the glomeruli through the afferent arterioles. Blood flows out of the glomerulus through the efferent arteriole. The afferent and efferent arterioles regulate glomerular capillary pressure by selectively dilating or constricting. The kidney's venous blood, now filtered, flows from the glomerulus via the efferent arterioles into the peritubular capillary network, a low-pressure, reabsorptive system surrounding all portions of the tubules. This arrangement permits rapid movement of solutes and water between the fluid in the tubular lumen and the blood in the capillaries. The peritubular capillaries rejoin to form the venous channels by which blood leaves the kidneys and empties into the inferior vena cava. Urine formation involves the filtration of the blood by the glomerulus to form an ultrafiltrate of urine, the tubular reabsorption of electrolytes and nutrients needed to maintain the constancy of the internal environment, and the secretion of waste materials. Filtration occurs as blood flows into the glomerulus from its afferent arteriole, and plasma moves through the glomerular capillaries into Bowman's space. From Bowman's space, the glomerular filtrate moves into the tubular segments of the nephron. Here, through tubular reabsorption, electrolytes and nutrients move from the filtrate back into the bloodstream. Here also, through tubular secretion, substances move from the peritubular capillaries into the urine filtrate. The filtrate concentrates in the collecting tubules, then finds its way to the renal pelvis, where it is directed to the ureter, the bladder, and the urethra for elimination. The kidneys perform an excretory function by filtering the blood and then selectively reabsorbing those materials that are needed to maintain a stable internal environment. The nephron is the functional unit of the kidney and is composed of a glomerulus, which filters the blood, and a tubular component, where necessary substances are reabsorbed into the bloodstream and unneeded materials are secreted into the tubular filtrate for elimination in urine.
Oh, thank you. Hey, I just received a video clip from Tom and Molly about urinary system. Let's check it out. Sure.
Let's go around that. Dear Tim and Moby, how does the urinary system work? From Min. The urinary system is one part of your body's excretory system, the parts of your body that remove waste products. Well, the processes that keep us alive, like eating, breathing, and drinking, also create poisons in our bodies. The urinary system removes a poison called urea from the bloodstream. It also gets rid of any extra water and salts you don't need. All of this stuff is carried by the blood to the kidneys, two organs in your lower back. The kidneys are about the size of a fist, and they're shaped like, kidney beans. Or a kidney swimming pool. Right, what I'm saying is they're kidney-shaped. Anyway, inside the kidneys, little filters called nephrons take all the urea and other unwanted stuff out of your blood. Right, that's all urine is, water, urea, and salts that your body doesn't need. From the kidneys, urine travels down little tubes called ureters and is emptied into the bladder. The kidneys send a little bit of urine to the bladder every 10 or 15 seconds. The bladder is shaped like a balloon, and that's actually how it acts, too. As it receives more urine, it blows up into a round shape. Circular muscles called sphincters keep the urine from leaking out of the bladder's opening. Meanwhile, nerves in the bladder send signals to your brain telling you that you need to go to the bathroom. The more the muscular bladder fills up, the more intense the nerve signals get, and the more uncomfortable you become. And eventually, the bladder explodes. No, I'm just kidding. A healthy bladder can comfortably hold about 16 ounces of urine for a few hours. When you want to go, your brain sends signals to the bladder, telling it to squeeze, and signals to the sphincters, telling them to relax. Urine leaves the bladder through a tube called the urethra. That leads to the outside world. Bad dog, go away!
That was cute! And it's almost time.
Oh, really?
But before we end this clip, we will now present our music video.
Bring it on! And it will all start in...
Wake up every morning, gonna take a pee. With the leaf, drop my undies, comes the yellow sea.
Let's go!
I gotta know just a couple of facts. Where the flow likes to go, the urinary tract. I'm talking liquid in my kidneys, longer capillaries, different arteries.
You're talking what comes with their pee.
Tons of RBCs filled with blood.
Don't stop moving throat, but these difference are hard tonight. I just might see the system work right. Niknak, body what, but the body won't flush. No, oh, 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 oh. Don't stop moving up, but these difference are hard tonight. I just might see the system work right. sweets, but there's no extra space. But from the throat to the stomach to the kidneys and bladder, the pee of the urethra can create a big slather.
I'm talking tubing tape, kidneys, round in the size of a fist, urethras left and right, carry urine down.
That's right!
The ninth urinary bladder tells you we've got a bladder, and last is the urethra where pee comes out, you see.
Stop doing job, but these nephros are hot tonight. I just might see the system work right. Knick-knack, paddywhack, but the body won't flush. No, oh, 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 oh. Don't stop doing job, but these nephros are hot tonight. I just might see the system work right. Knick-knack, paddywhack, but the body won't flush. No, oh, 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 oh. You're breaking it down. My bladder is full and it won't come out. My zipper's down. I'm waiting now. I'm trying hard, but it won't come out.
You're drinking it up, you're breaking it down. My bladder is full, but it won't come out.
My zipper's down. I'm waiting now. I'm waiting now. Body ain't full till I walk in. Don't